Good morning, you guys. It's your boy Bill Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the entire basketball community. If you want more basketball content, tune in to Basketball Conversations every Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time. This is where we discuss basketball-related topics, news, debates, and everything else in the world of basketball. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to get all the latest notifications when I start dropping videos and live streams. So, I'm gonna take one break from the morning historical perspective video because this topic has been really been on my mind in terms of everybody who's been watching these NBA playoff games, and I'm gonna say this is a bit about more of a roast session today for two teams in particular. That is the LA Clippers and the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to save the Philadelphia 76ers for another video later on in the afternoon. But this morning, I wanted to talk about more about the LA Clippers because I believe the Clippers are in deep trouble after blowing game four. And here's why, okay? Since the league resumed basketball during this whole bubble period, all right, the Clippers right now have been playing a lot of inconsistent basketball, okay? When you look at the roster right now, you would think that this team should be better than what they are. But there are a lot of times where I feel that when they get up by double digits, it's like they take their foot off the gas pedal and they let teams come back and beat them. And in the playoffs, you cannot do that. All right. Listen, the Clippers were up by as many as 20 points heading into the second half. Okay. And they did not do a good job of controlling Luka Doncic okay? And plus, Luka Doncic was entering the game with an injured ankle. He injured it in game three, all right? And this is basically after in response to what Montrezl Harrell basically opened up this big mouth and basically blasted on uh Luka Doncic. Okay, now look, I'm all for trash talking. I'm all for physicality because we've been missing that in today's basketball. But the things that Montrezl Harrell said, bruh, it was not the time, not the place for that. All right, and listen, you got to look back at that situation, and you look at that situation, and you think, he might have been waking up the monster here. Even when he left the game with a bad ankle, all right, he was still having a triple double. If he wasn't hurt, he would at least had at least what 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 13 assists max. All right, but what happened in Game 4? Kristaps Porzingis is hurt. All right, Luka Doncic decided I'm going to go ahead and play despite the injured ankle. And what happened? 43 points, 17 rebounds, and 13 assists on 18 or 31 shooting from the field. I was watching the second half. You know what I'm saying? As I was getting I was basically getting my shoes, listening to the game, the first half on radio, and I was thinking to myself, okay, the Clippers are starting to figure this out. They're doing a good job. Scoring. You know what I mean? And they're doing a good job putting the Clams on one of the best high scoring offenses in the NBA, the Dallas Mavericks. But then in the second half, it's like these guys forgot to play how to play basketball. And Doc Rivers was so upset during that huge run in the third quarter, in which the Mavericks, as I check out the stats real quick, in which the Mavericks basically outscored the Clippers basically in the second half and basically in the third quarter, 35-19. Okay, after scoring 34 points in the first half. I'm talking about in the first quarter. I'm talking about the Clippers. Then 32 in the second quarter. Okay, they only scored 19 points in the third quarter, while the Mavericks scored 35. And you look at that situation and you think to yourself in that third quarter, these Clippers just did not want to defend. It's like they got up a big lead and then they put their foot off the gas pedal, and then all of a sudden the Mavericks boom exploded. Seth Curry was hitting shots. Brogdon was basically blocking shots. He was looking like the second coming of Anthony Davis with his defense. Okay, then Kristaps was cheering on the sidelines, seeing this great basketball here, and then Luka Doncic was basically getting any shot he wanted. He would drive against Paul George or Kawhi Leonard and would score. He was shooting his shots efficiently. He was attacking the paint. Okay, you guys. Now listen, I know Luka Doncic is not the most athletically gifted player in the NBA. All right. But the thing that you have to respect about Luka Doncic is this: he knows how to get to his spots on the floor, and he knows how to figure out ways to score based on the spots he chooses to where he can score against the defense. Okay, that's how he efficiently scores his point. And salute to Lewis Sports Network though yesterday because he made up a great point. He compares Luka Doncic to Rod Strickland. I compare Luka Doncic to. I'll put it like this. Compare him to Rick Barry in terms of this. Okay, he's an outstanding shooter, but the thing with Rick Barry was that Rick Barry, he wasn't the most explosive athlete, but he knew how to pick his spots. He knew how to get into a certain spots on the floor to basically score. Okay, that's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of Rick Barry. Okay, and when I was looking at back the tape in the second half, I'm thinking to myself, like, why are the Clippers not putting Kawhi Leonard on Luka Doncic? I never understood why Doc Rivers, didn't decide to put one of his two best defenders out there. He allowed Lou Williams to guard Luka Doncic. He allowed Reggie Jackson to guard Luka Doncic and Marcus Morris to guard Luka Doncic, and basically he was scoring on all of them. And you sit there and it's like, what are they? What is their strategy defensively against Luka Doncic? I don't understand. I don't get it. And I'm going to say my clip on Paul George in just a few minutes here. But my point is this: the Clippers right now, they're in a funk. They're in a funk right now, and they have not looked good. You could make an argument that the Mavericks should be up 3-1 in this series if Kristaps Porzingis didn't get ejected in Game 1, and if Luka Doncic didn't injure his ankle in Game 3. You could make that argument, but right now they're tied 2-2 with Game 5 tomorrow night. All right, in Orlando. So if you're a Mavericks fan, you should be real good, feel good with yourself. You came back down 20 points, and then you basically beat them at the buzzer in overtime. This game should have that game yesterday. It should have never went to overtime. If the Clippers would have made their defensive adjustments and kept the foot on the gas pedal and kept on scoring, this series would have been totally different. It should be 3-1 Clippers. And right now, you add the fact that you had Montrezl Harrell run his mouth on Luka Doncic, and Doc Rivers not making the right defensive assignments. Now you're stuck in a 2-2 tie, and you go back to that last play when Luka Doncic hit the game winner. Yes, it was a long three, and yes, he had 3 air balls in the game. But the guts of that kid to step up and take that shot with no hesitation at all, it really speaks to you how courageously, brave this kid is. The thing with Luka Doncic is that he knew where his spot on the floor to take that shot. And Reggie Jackson, I like the guy, but he was in Luka Doncic's mercy. And my criticism of Doc Rivers is that this is something that really bothers me about Doc Rivers. As good of a coach as he is, and I think he's just a tad bit overrated, just a touch a bit. But my criticism of Doc Rivers is that he makes critical mistakes in big moments. Why didn't you put Paul George or Kawhi Leonard on Luka Doncic? You allow Reggie Jackson to go one-on-one against one of the best young scorers in the NBA, and basically he told Luka Doncic saw what was happening, and basically said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna toy with this guy," and he just toyed with him with a great crossover dribbled and hit the three right in his grill. Now you have a 2-2 tie. Now I'm gonna get into Paul George right here, guys, because this needs to be said right now. Paul George has been playing like absolute garbage, straight up garbage. All right, this guy, I don't know what is going on with him, but he has been absolutely struggling. First, he's jacking up threes. Now he's basically missing easy shots in the paint. He's just not being aggressive right now. He's not playing aggressively, and he's literally allowed Luka Doncic to basically run wild. He really should be the guy assigned to guard Luka Doncic. Okay, and I don't know what the reason why he's not guarding him. It really does not make any sense to me. And I really think that it kind of and I have a theory why this is not happening. Okay, I personally believe that Paul George is still having that PTSD moment to what happened when he was with the OKC Thunder. You remember what happened there? All right, you remembered how Damian Lillard basically toyed with him from near half court and drilled the three right in his grill. Yeah. People still remember that. All right. Now listen, Paul George was playing hurt. I know that's a play to factor in that, but listen, Paul George has been missing in action in these playoffs. 2018 against the Jazz, all right, and then against the Rockets, all right. He's been missing in action, okay, and also back in 2019 against the Portland Trailblazers, all right. You look at those situations and you think to yourself, what's the constant barometer here? Is it really that Paul George has really been, not been as aggressive as he should be, or he doesn't really want to, deal with that kind of smoke? I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. After scoring at least 27 in game one, then what happened? In game two, he basically shot 4 of 17 and scored 14 points in game two. Then game three, he did, decently. He actually did worse, I should say. He shot 3 of 16 and scored 11 points. Now, yesterday in game four, only scored 9 points and shot 3 for 13. I'm sorry. That's not good enough. That's certainly not good enough. After he had a really good performance in game one, now he's disappeared in the last two games. I'm telling you, Paul George needs to show more. All right, he cannot be. Listen, he has to be aggressive and look to try to make his shots more efficiently. Stop jacking up threes. I don't understand why you jacking up threes, just selling for the jump shots. That makes him easier to guard. If I'm was a player like Paul George, I'm attacking the rim every single time. I'm putting the pressure on the defense to make them guard me. And right now, Paul George has really been missing in action the last two games, while Kawhi Leonard's been pretty much the only star player that's been doing his thing. And thank goodness for Lou Williams, because if without Lou Williams' 36 points, this game would have easily been a blowout loss for the Clippers. But he did miss that free throw that could have won the game in regulation. So, I knocked him some points on that, but not entirely much. But the thing is this. The Clippers right now, they're in major trouble. They're major trouble right now. And if they don't get their act together in game five, the Mavericks are gonna make sure that they're gonna end that series in six. All right, they need to play their last two games as if this is game seven. All right, they listen. If I was either Paul George or Kawhi Leonard, I'm immediately telling Doc Rivers, listen, I know you want to keep us on the floor, but damn that. All right. I'm guarding Luka Doncic the whole game. You're not going to get in the way of this. All right. They need to accept the challenge of guarding Luka Doncic and making sure you're not going to shut him down entirely, but you got to limit him to a certain extent. You got to make things harder for him. All right. Yes, he's very physical, and yes, he can get to a spot anytime he wants. But you got to accept the challenge of stopping one of the best. Now I'm going to say it, one of the premier scorers in the NBA right now. And the scary part is Luka Doncic is basically 21 years old, so his ceiling is going to get higher. You not now, guys. You're looking at perhaps one of a future MVP candidate in the making, barring if he stays healthy. Okay, this guy is literally going to go down as one of the greatest draft trade steals in NBA history. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this dude, Paul George, you gotta show me something, man. You gotta show me something, bro. This is not. Listen, you came to L.A. with your buddy Kawhi Leonard because he saw that the value that you still have left in yourself, and right now you've not brought it to the forefront after game one. All right, you got to accept the challenge of stopping Luka Doncic because he has been running wild too much. If I were the Clippers right now, immediately I am double teaming him anytime he catches the ball. Double team him early. Get the ball out of his hands. Make the other guys beat it. If Tim Hardaway Jr., Seth Curry, or Trey Burke have to be the guys to beat the Clippers, you know what? You can tip your hat to them and say, "Hey, you beat us." All right. But I'm not letting Luka Doncic drop another monster triple double on my head. All right. Luka Doncic, this kid, in his first playoff series, he is putting on a masterful show against a team is supposed to be considered one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, but they've not really shown their defensive prowess in this series. And you look at that and you say, like, what is going on with these Clippers? And as I said before, their complacency was killing them right now. When they get up by double digits, they put their foot off the gas pedal, and it's like They just decide we're just going to turn it off and turn it on when we need to. You can't do that in the playoffs. Good teams keep their foot on the gas pedal. They make adjustments when other teams make a run on them. They show heart. The star players have to accept the challenge of guarding against the other team's star player and making sure that he's not going to be the one that's going to beat us. All right, that's what I need to see in Game 5. This is going to be this Game 5 is going to be very, very interesting, and you know that the LeBron media fanboys want the Mavericks to beat the Clippers because they've been hating on the Clippers since the season began. And if the Mavericks find a way to beat the Clippers, you best believe they're going to be celebrating until the cows come home. I promise you that, you guys. So at the end of the day, the Clippers got to show up, man. They got to show up, and they got to say no more. Luka is not going to beat us anymore. All right. And Paul George, he needs to wake up and play like PG 13. If not, the Clippers are going to be going home early and they're going to be waiting until next season to make amends. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section, y'all. Peace.